In the terms of duties collected, this will be massive. In 2024, the US collected around €7 billion in duties on EU exports. The projection is that the US might now collect as much as €100 billion if the ongoing investigations result in tariffs. And as you know, just yesterday, we learned about new possible 100% tariff on non-US film production. So I believe that you would agree with me that the situation as such is not acceptable, and we cannot afford to stay idle, and this brings me to our response. Honourable members, we are not facing these headwinds on autopilot. As you know, President von der Leyen has entrusted me to engage with the US administration to try and find fair and mutually beneficial negotiated solution and return to a constructive trade relationship. I am in constant contact with my US interlocutors for this purpose. In order to get these negotiations up and running, we have been scoping out the possibility to reduce barriers, not raise them, including by proposing to agree on zero tariffs for all industrial goods, including in strategic industrial sectors such as cars and car parts, jointly addressing global overcapacities in strategic industrial sectors such as steel and aluminium, jointly increasing the resilience of EU and US supply chains in sectors such as semiconductors and pharmaceuticals, and securing a return to barrier-free transatlantic trade and reviving our cooperation. So the EU has made clear that we are ready to discuss and we are ready to find mutually beneficial solutions respecting our interest and regulatory autonomy. We now need the US to show its readiness to make progress towards a fair and balanced solution. And I have already shared the approach with my US counterparts as a basis for further engagement. We are fully engaged in discussion with the US as a negotiated solution remains our clear and preferred outcome. But if our talks with the US do not yield the necessary result, we will be ready for alternative with the aim of restoring a level playing field. Therefore, we are also using the 90-day pause to continue our preparation for further rebalancing measures to counter the multitude of additional US tariffs on EU exports and ensure a level playing field in the longer term. And here I would like to underline that all options remain on the table. We are also preparing for litigation to preserve and reinforce the multilateral rules-based trading system. At the same time, we are monitoring possible risk of trade diversion by the way of dedicated import surveillance task force, where the aim is to protect the EU market from possible surges of imports from other countries that are also hit by US tariffs and which seek alternative markets. The first results of this work are anticipated in mid-May. The Commission stands ready, if necessary, to use all available tools in our trade defence instrument toolbox in a rapid manner to protect the EU single market, EU producers and EU consumers. We will also, honourable members, continue diversifying our trade and investment ties with partners around the globe. This includes making the most of our expansive network of trade agreements with 76 countries across the globe, covering almost half of our trade, and doubling down on our efforts to finalise ongoing negotiations. Here, we know that countries around the world are looking at the EU as a trusted, reliable and predictable trading partner. In the current global environment, it is in everyone's interest to expand their network and strengthen their supply routes. For us, it is nothing less than a prerequisite for our competitiveness and our economic security that we find new markets for our exporters and new sources of imports.